Thank you for considering our submission. Students faced with chronic stressors and adversity show impairment in their stress response systems, which harms a child's ability to emotionally self-regulate and deal with life's challenges as they occur. Mindfulness as a foundational support gives resources to faculty and students and serves as a connector for implicit bias work, racial equity, restorative practices, and social and emotional learning. Benefits of mindfulness education include increased student achievement, increased engagement, increased relationships with peers, fewer absences, and fewer suspensions. So what do children have to say about mindfulness education?
My mental and physical health are very much intertwined with the quality of my academic work. I feel like I need to be as in touch with myself as possible in order to turn in high quality work.
I think that students might need, or that I may need personally, be able to make the right choices or have more self-confidence in themselves.
If we were to relax, we would focus more. Focusing will help our grades and us learning.
I would attend a school that's focused on mindfulness because I feel as though it's a very important life skill to have. Unfortunately, the students today, we don't really learn that in the traditional schooling system.
It allows me to reflect on my own identities. It helps me understand how those affect my morals, my values. I think all of these create a greater sense of collectiveness and community through better understanding ourselves and those around us.
Teachers, school leaders, and parents may all recognize a child whose behavior is negatively impacted by stress, but they may not have all the tools needed in order to support their needs. So what do NYC DOE teens need? Teens need a strong school-based approach for addressing trauma. They need a school where faculty and staff members throughout the building are all trained on prevention and intervention on trauma and professionalism supporting those areas. Teens need a building where there's constant adaptation around curricula being taught to them to make sure that it's culturally responsive and culturally appropriate, and to have more trauma-informed resources as needed. Increased opportunities for teachers to practice their own emotional inventory, where teachers have their own practice and resource, and especially when supporting students with trauma. Ensuring a bilingual element for all English language learner and multi-language learner populations.
For the first time ever in the United States, an inquiry-driven, project-based high school with a mindfulness theme will be offered to students grades 6 to 12. Up to 52% who have an IEP are multilingual learners, live in temporary housing, and/or receive free and reduced lunch. All students at the School for Mindful Inquiry take a 1-year mindfulness and social-emotional learning course upon entry, and throughout the other 3 years will deepen and lead mindfulness practices with or to their peers across all core subject areas, including yoga and breathing techniques.
In the School for Mindful Inquiry, students will have the option to get certified as a yoga teacher through Yoga Alliance. Students and teachers will be provided with the first bilingual Spanish 200-hour yoga teacher training program. Curriculum and training will be provided for teachers on yoga instruction, anatomy, breathing, SEL, and mindfulness. Staff will be provided with monthly professional training and support to work with students who have experienced trauma and ACE. Students will be provided with internships in all industries, but particularly in mindfulness, health, and wellness industries. Students will sit and get credits for college-level coursework.
The School for Mindful Inquiry is the first school model in the New York City Department of Education that prioritizes the Supportive Environment Framework, SEF, which helps us come to terms with school culture, climate, and wellness specifically to begin to put the social and emotional needs of our children in a place where it's just as important, if not more important, than academic learning, serving as a ground for working through systemic issues of race and equity. This is the first school that recognizes the emerging of mindfulness with consciousness, mandating an integrated approach throughout all subjects and for all staff in order to ensure that it will work. Everyone is on board.
The mission of the School of Mindful Inquiry is to provide individualized and inspiring curricula for college and career readiness, where student-driven instructional practices sanction young people to be agents of their own learning. Trust and empowerment in students to choose their own pathways and to use their own voice for learning, technology, mindfulness, compassion, and collaboration play an integral role in bringing out the pro-social nature of all students.